in, all of our 2BUBs friends, and all of our TT friends here. We're going to get started in a second. I am Charity, aka NiceComps, and we are going to be photographing some clothing today. We got some bangers today. We got some made in the USA. We got vintage. We got fire. We got a shirt that I think is pretty much worth like $100 and a jacket that might be worth a couple $100 once I do some research on it. So it's going to be exciting. Kind of coastal. Oh my gosh, you got in here in like 2 seconds. I love it. Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. If you guys are joining me on the 2Bs, it's UBs, feel free to ask anything you want to in the chat, whether you're watching this on the replay or live, and I will try to get to it. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, and all the fun things if you want to see more stuff like this. It kind of says I was waiting. Nice. Awesome. Devil's Bunnies, welcome in, guys. I am very happy to see you today. Like I said, we got some bangers today. So I am very excited. Already photographed some stuff earlier, got some stuff listed, got it cross-listed, and we're now on round 2. I'm trying to make up for a not as productive weekend as I would like. Hey, Denise, welcome in. Weekend warrior. Speaking of weekends, welcome in, you guys. Yeah, so this weekend it started out great. Saturday, I did the garage sales, hit 87 garage sales. We got around 300 items, which is wonderful. And then Saturday night, we did that huge 3-hour haul video. And then I had a concert that night. And then Sunday, we kind of took family day a little bit. I'm going to be honest, I got a couple things cross-listed, and that was really it. I just needed some time. Had another concert on Sunday night. So it was like a action-packed, fun weekend. But I can definitely tell from our sales that, because I wasn't as consistent as I usually was, I think I got a little down on the algorithms because it's definitely been quieter, which I think has to do with that. But I also think with the storms and the weather and now everything that's going through Florida and all the stuff people are dealing with. I mean, you got so many people down in the southern parts of the states just not purchasing right now because they're just trying to figure out how to, deflood their homes or protect their homes. So, which I totally get. Hey, Blended, welcome in. And Robert is here. Morano is here. Thrifty Mama Beth, good to see you. And Jamie, Thrifty Duckies, I see you. Hey, John. Okay, guys, let's get started here and get this party going. So like I said, we got a serious variety today. So we've got some, I think most of everything we have today is vintage. Looking at what we got, vintage, that's all vintage. That's vintage. You know what? I don't even know if we have any modern today. That's crazy. Justin basically brings me in a tub of stuff, and whatever's in a tub is what I do. So most of the stuff is stuff that we got at garage sales. Some this last weekend and then the weekend before. So he just brings me in whatever tub is close. So it's I never know what I'm going to be getting when he brings that in. So we will see what we got today. Puffin, welcome in. And of course, Thrifty Mama, thank you so much for the likes, you guys. You all encouraged me to dream a little bit bigger. So I put our goal up of 50 heart puffs today. I know I'm getting crazy. But we put up 50 heart puffs, which is I don't know, it's 51 cents or something. And we have a new subscriber in here, and I didn't get to see who it was. So we have a new subscriber. I just noticed it when I was going live. I was like, wait, why is there 6 out of 10 now? So we are 4 away from our subscriber goal. I think it's the subscriber fiesta right now too. So I think you can subscribe for $2 or something like that. And it just helps, helps the stream, helps to tell TikTok that this is the stuff that we want to see. And then of course, if you're on the 2Bs, it's UBs, it is free to subscribe. So look at that. Free 99. You can't beat that, right? All right, guys, let's get this party started. And let's start with a little bit of a banger today. So I got this. I need a drink of coffee. The voice is still a little rough, guys. I sang 120 punk songs between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. 120 songs means your voice sounds a little bit like this today. So, hi, Puffin. All right, banger. We're going to start with a little bit of a banger. So I picked this up at a garage sale. I got it for 50 cents. This is a 2004 Rolling Stone. Miraculously, it still has its tag, and it's a really interesting tag too. It says Tennessee River. I have never, ever, ever seen that before. I have sold a lot of stuff and I've never seen that label. I don't know if any of you guys on the Tubi or anybody on TT has seen that before, but Tennessee River. So that one was new to me. It's made in Mexico because it's not made in the US. Obviously, it's 2004, so that's pretty typical for that era. Got one little tiny flaw here. This will probably sell on Depop. If you guys didn't get a chance to watch the video, I just posted it last night. I know that you guys had been asking for this one, so I wanted to hammer this one out. So I did it last night, and it's on understanding Depop and how to sell and how to help that platform work. Now, when you guys watch the video, if you have other questions about Depop, go on into that video from last night, ask a question in the comments, because then I can reply to that with a video message and it'll help it to get out to more people. It will also, I don't know exactly what you guys want to know. So I just kind of did some basic stuff for Depop. But if you have any other questions, like please feel free. Depop is one of my best-selling platforms. So I am totally down to answer any questions. Yo, Jem, what is going on? Yeah, vintage brand Tennessee River. I had never seen this one. So it's always kind of exciting when you're a reseller or a thrifter and you like come across a tag you've never seen before. I've got one that's for Coley. If she joins us this afternoon, so we'll have to hold off on that one because it's very exciting. Hey, Fran, good to see you, and Scott. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go over here to our little picture box thing here. Now, this one has some, I don't know if this is like a glue or something. I don't want to mess with it because this is obviously a vintage shirt. It's got some distressing here and there. So whoever buys this shirt is buying it because they want that kind of like lived in grungy look. It's got a few pinholes and stuff like that. I think I will still be able to probably get, I mean, I'll have to comp this, guys. I haven't comped any of this stuff. So me going off the top of my head with these prices, you let me know if I am incorrect, because I am just literally making up a price, I think. I think in this condition, I could probably get like 40 bucks for it. I think that if it was in better condition, I probably could get closer to 60, but it depends on how many of these are on the market for sure. If it's a white tag that says Tennessee Rover Inc., it's from the 90s. I'm guessing you meant Tennessee River. Tennessee River Inc. I mean, this isn't from the 90s because it's dated 2004. It just says Tennessee River. So is that a common brand? I mean, that's just weird that I've never come across that before. You probably went over this, but can you show us your photo setup in detail? Yeah, Centra, actually, that's a great question. When you hop off of here, if you go over to the Tubies, it's Ubies, just look for NiceComps. I got a 2-minute video in there that goes over this entire setup and exactly where all of the items came from. So that you can get a better breakdown, because otherwise it's really hard for me to show you because I can't get you guys back behind there so you'll see it. You're welcome. Hey, Robin, good to see you. All right, so we're going to get our phone here. Now, this is so cool. So I was watching, you guys know who Chris at Peak is? Most of you guys probably know. I was watching a great YouTube video that they had yesterday that K-Way, Surfs, and him had done. It's like a really awesome, like 2-hour long video. I had it on while I was listening last night, and they go over like all these men's brands and stuff, which was fantastic. I learned a lot of stuff out of that. But he said, yeah, so the first thing I do when I take pictures, I pop my lanyard on. I was like, dude, me too. So I was so excited to find out that somebody else does this trick, because it works so good. So if you guys have not gotten yourselves one of these, if you click on the old link dinketer in the bio YOE, it'll take you over to the Smile store. It's under reseller supplies, and it's PRAME days right now. So you may be able to get one of these. I don't know if maybe it's on a little dealio or something, but this thing is the greatest thing for taking pictures you'll ever get. I have that in my cart. Yeah, kind of take a look today too. Make sure you refresh that, because it may be on the SALE, but you never know. Do you have that phone tap? Yes, it is in the link dinketer, Jim. Absolutely. Yeah. So this thing has been like so awesome. I will never go without it. It's amazing. Afternoon, gracious. I see the pirate flamingo. I ordered some. There's always a rat coming on Friday. Nice, Carrie. Yeah, it's great. So when you get this, just don't put the center stuff in. And the ones that have the grates in it that look like a old 80s background, that one goes up top here. So normally I don't know if that one goes up top, but put that one up top here because you'll be able to hang clothes on it. It's what you can weave the lights in and out of too. And if you guys get the stuff to build this sucker and you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message and I will help you, through it and how we did it, because I mean, this has just been such a game changer. I look back at my other two setups, the flat lay, and I look at pictures of that, and then I look at the other one I tried before I had the actual case to keep this in, and it's just, I mean, it's not. If you guys look at my pictures on eBay, I am not a professional photographer by any means, but they all look really good in my opinion. So yeah, Carrie, you're welcome. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do after we get our strap on is we're gonna open up our camera and we're gonna make sure it's on the square setting. So you want that as a 1:1 ratio. If you do the photos that are long and not square, when people view it on mobile, when they look at your eBay or your Posh or your Mercari or Depop and they look on mobile, the photos will be long and skinny with two white or dark bars on the side, and it makes the item like microscopic when they're scrolling, and they're just going to scroll right past it. I know I've been saying I'll do a video on how to do this and keep it on there, and I will. Now, the video, unfortunately, is just going to be for iPhone because I don't know how to do it on Android, but I bet you guys can figure it out. In iPhone, there's a way to actually set it in your settings so that it stays like this all the time. So my phone never comes out of square mode now. So no matter how many times I close it and open it, because before I'd get so annoyed at having to go in and change it all the time. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do our first photo is always kind of a test photo. So I'm looking to make sure that my lighting is all in a good place. I'm going to make sure my brightness is all the way up on my phone. Make sure you're checking that when you guys go to do pictures. If it's not, bring it up to the brightness. If you don't do that, you're not getting an accurate view of what it's going to look like, and you're going to end up with over or underexposed photos. So we're going to take a look at our first picture here, and we're going to see what we see. Looks okay to me. I notice on this side, it's got a little bit of a dark shadow. So I'm probably going to just mess with my lighting here just a little bit. And then we'll take another picture, and sometimes adjusting just the littlest thing can make all the difference in the world. Sometimes a little adjustment of the exposure or a little adjustment of the light. Oh yeah, and totally different. Look at this. Just that little tiny adjustment. There's the first picture, and you notice there's kind of like a dark swatch right here. If I swipe that over, look at how that's light, bright, and out of sight. The picture is even. Now, it probably looks a little like different to you guys on your end, but when I look at it, the color looks good. The color looks rich. It looks accurate to what it is. Does anyone here use Photo Room that knows how to? Oh, yep. No, gracious. That's not a question for me, but that's good. Do you have a phone specifically for pictures and listing? Nope. This is just my personal phone. I'm a bottom biscuit basic girl. I just like, I am not buying anything else fancy. I like little gadgets, inexpensive gadgets. Don't get me wrong. I love gadgets. They make my brain happy, but I don't do fancy cameras and all that. I think that the pictures can look really great. And I think that having two phones, there's nothing wrong with it. I just, I don't do that. So no, I do not delete everything. I pay $2.99 a month for the cloud, and there's 70,000 pictures in there or something. I don't even know. It's worth $3 to me a month to just never have to worry about it and never have to delete. I used to go in and delete all the photos, but I have found that I reuse those photos, and here's what I mean. If I can't find a SKU number for something, or I can't find an item and I can't figure out when I did the pictures for that item, I will go back in my photos and find that item. So it has definitely saved me. All right. So our first picture looks good here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move on over to the shoulders here, and we're going to get a picture of the shoulders. We talked a little bit about this last time we did pictures together, but I'll just give you guys a little reminder. So one thing you want to make sure that you're doing when you're taking pictures of stuff is you're getting the focal point in the photo as much as you can. And what I mean by that is the focal point of this, of course, is the picture itself. So I want to get that in the photo as much as I possibly can. And then, of course, showing any sort of flaws or anything that has any little things and stuff like that. Now, people on Depop just don't care, but I always put the any of the flaws up there. Seriously, it's pretty wild. Like, they won't even look at the descriptions before they purchase stuff over there. So they don't really care because they're not looking for that perfect aesthetic. That's why they're buying vintage. Whereas on eBay or Poshmark, they're really looking at all of your photos there. So I try to get them in the picture. But when I know something's going to sell on Depop versus anywhere else, I'm not that hyper focused on it. So then I'm getting a picture of the tag here. And let me show you what I mean by focal points. So I know we talked a little bit about this in the past, so I don't want to go like too far into it because I don't want you guys to, get bored or anything like that. But in sales, so my background is actually marketing. I did that for quite a few years. And in sales, there's something called exposures, and everyone is a different exposure number. It's usually anywhere between 5 to 21 is standard. So someone that can see an item 3 or 4 or 5 times and buy it is what's called an early adopter. So these are the people that like purchase kind of things on a whim. They've been advertised by a couple things a couple times in the day, but not realizing. I don't know if you guys realize this, but right now in the States, we are advertised to 5 to 7,500 times a day, which is crazy. It's so wild. So we don't even realize we're getting advertised to, and all those things stack up and become exposures. So if you are taking photos and someone's looking for a vintage t-shirt and they're like, oh, wow, that's really cool that it's Rolling Stones. That is 1 exposure in the item title, 1 exposure in the description. 3, I make sure that's in the photo of the shoulders. 4, I make sure it's in the photo of the length. 5, I make sure it's in the photo of the chest. 6, I make sure it's in the photo of any of the flaws. 7, I make sure it's in the photo of the flaw. 8, that is 8 exposures right there to that for that person. Now, if they're a 12 to 15 exposure person, they may put it in their cart. You may need to make an offer. Every time you guys go back and forth and talk offers, those are additional exposures. So if you can get the meat and potatoes or the logo of the thing in those photos when you're doing those chests or lengths or anything like that, it's just going to help that person if they are that number to purchase it. If someone's a 25 exposure, that means they're a late adopter. This is someone that literally is going to have something in their cart for like 6 months and then all of a sudden buy it one day from you because they've seen it in their cart so many times. So I hope that that kind of helps you. It really will help you to sell more if you can get that stuff in there. Can you remind me where to look on the tag to see the age of something? Golden, it just depends on the item. So on Levi's, you're going to look for the CW. Wranglers, you can't date. A lot of these t-shirts, especially the Y2K t-shirts, will have it in small writing here at the bottom somewhere. This one says 2004. Sometimes it'll be up in the tag, but not very often. If you're looking, if you've got Old Navy, Abercrombie, and it depends, sometimes they're up top, but usually they're at the bottom. If you're looking at the shirt, it's going to be bottom right for you, bottom left if you were wearing it. And if you just look in the seam, a lot of times there'll be something that has the date. Usually it's going to be a 4-digit number and it'll be like 0210. And that'll tell you it's February of 2010. Or on Nike, it'll say either HOSPFA, and that stands for holiday, spring, or fall release. And then the 2 numbers after that will be the year. For instance, if it says like FA10, that would be fall of 2010. So what I would suggest doing, and this is what I did when I first started, is I took a notebook, and every time I came across a brand, I would write down how to find that date. It's usually where you're also going to find the style code, which makes it really easy for you to look that item up, get the right title, and get that in the descriptions as well. So they're usually in the same area. Now, that doesn't go for everything, but that's just kind of a little bit of a rule of thumb. I've been doing that, and I like that tip. Oh, good, Jim. Great. Do you use Autoposher? You know, I am using Autoposher to send out offers. I'm actually a Vendoo girl, Vendoo. I started with them. This is just the way that works. My brain thinks that way. So I'm super happy with Vendoo. I can cross list really fast and easily on there. And they are coming out with a feature where they'll be able to send out offers on items, meaning right now they don't have that option. So that's in the works and it's being beta tested right now. I expect it to be announced here soon. So that'll be exciting for sure. They also just came out with a new feature, which is a bulk closet delist and relist. So you can literally bulk delist everything and relist everything at once, or as little or as much as you want. So that's just who I go with. If you guys want to check them out, I think there's a little like discounting CODE or something if you go to the old LinkedInketer in the bio YOE. Now, I know a lot of people use Autoposher for cross-listing and delisting and all that, and they're happy with it too. So I think it just kind of depends on like what's your jam and what your jelly. All you got to do is try it out and see what you like, right? Now, where do you look up style codes? That's usually where they are, Golden. They're going to be either on the tag here or most likely they're going to be in the waistband, unless you get into like the weirder brands like Lululemon is in a pocket or under a seam. Sometimes you really got to search for it, but you'll find a number in there. And that number, if you go to like the internet and you were to type in Nike 89664-387 or whatever it is, hey Amber, if you were to type that in, it'll pop up what that item is. Then what you can do is take that title of that item and use that for your title over in your titles on eBay or whatnot. Now you're still going to put additional stuff in there, the size, the color, maybe a descriptive or a trigger word. But that way, if someone's searching for like men's black Jordan fly jogger, skibidaboo, whatever the name of that is, it'll pull up and they'll be able to purchase that from you. Yeah, Amber, I was checking out. You got some good stuff with that haul. I was looking at your estate sale one. You got some goodies. I like that hat, actually, that white hat. That's what I wondered where to key it in. Yeah, so Golden, you can either and use that code too in your description. Some people will put it up in the title. I do that in my Nike stuff. If I don't need more trigger words, if I need more room, if I need more space up there, if I need more keywords, I'll just put that code down in the description and then also in the item specifics. Okay, so we've got our t-shirt here. We took a picture of the whole thing. We got a picture of the tag here. We're going to go ahead and pack it up. Now, I do the SKU system. So I use my Rollo printer. I buy these off the Smile store. They are Rollo labels, and it just prints these out like 1,000 at a time for me. And then that's how I do all of my inventory. So I just pop it in here, and then it goes into my room. Now I know people like Chris at Peak, he just puts his straight in poly bags. I leave mine open because I tend to find that I end up having to like open it up for like a question or something. And I like to make sure that it's okay when I ship it. I think it just depends on how you like to do it. So right now I'm doing it this way. I may graduate to just putting it straight in a poly bag at some point. Who knows? And then the other thing that I do is I document all of my stuff while I'm doing this in a notebook. So I write down the SKU number, the size, the name of the item, and then I write down the specs. And then if there's anything I want to remember about it, like it's got a spot. Do I have a little handsome in here? Do we have a handsome in here? Hi, baby. You want to come say hi to everyone? Okay. Jack wants to say hello, everybody. Say hello. Hi, Jack. Hey, buddy. Okay, you got to go find Daddy. Go find Papa. All right. And then Mama's got to get a lint roll because I'm going to photograph clothing and I don't want Jack hairs on me. What was I saying? Oh, the book. Yeah. So I just use an old notebook and I just use a ruler and put them in here. Now, here's why I do this. The reason I do this is because I like to do things in batches. So Jack, he's a good guy. I don't reuse those bags. I ship them in those bags. I use these and then I usually put a sticker and a thank you card. I go like this. I tape it down and then I put it in a poly bag. So the reason I do this is just for the bulk method. So if I can like take all my photos at once and then sit down and do all my listing at once and then do all of my cross listing at once, it just saves you time from doing like what I would do in the very beginning. And give me a high five or something if you guys did this, or heart or whatever. I would take a photo and then I would do the measurements and then I would list the item. And then I would try to cross-list it poorly, but didn't do well. I think Posh is the only place I was cross-listing at that time. And then I'd go take another photo. And then one day I was like, wait a second. I'm literally wasting all this action by doing it this way. What if I just do these, like, do all the photos, all the listing? It's like, oh, yeah, hello. Hi. Timer. Okay, so with the bread, you already did the bread, 40 minutes. Yep. Baking sourdough bread. Yeah, bulk method is where it's at. So time consuming to do it the other way. So I write my stuff down. That way I don't have to go through my pictures, because you know when you're sitting down to list and then something happens in the house, or if you're like me and your brain's going 47 directions all the time, I will lose track of where I was in my photos. So then I have to go back in and find it and stretch it and look at the measurements and everything. I have just found if I take the literally 20 seconds or whatever it takes to put down the measurements when I do this, then it just goes so much faster. So shoulders are 18, our length is 24, our chest is 18, and that's it. So that's how easy and quick that is. 2004, I'm going to put the date. I'm also going to write flaws, so I don't forget to say that, and then that is a medium. So for our Rolling Stone t-shirt, it's just going to look a little something like that. Then when I list the item, I put a green line through it, and once it's cross-listed, I put a pink line through it. That way I know I've done all the items, I'm good to go. Yes, Vendu will keep track of that for me, and I can go back through and make sure I didn't forget to list something somewhere, but I don't want to do that. I just want easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, and we're on to our next page here. Ascension. So I list everything on eBay first from my tablet, which you guys are on right now. The reason I do that on my iPad is because then it's just so easy for me to do sell similars. Google image search, find the thing, sell similar, get it listed, boom, it's up. And so I do all of that just sitting on my iPad. Then I upload all that into Vendu, and then I cross-list onto Posh, Depop, Mercari, sometimes Grailed, just depending on what the item is. I usually only do like the more fancy or like elite items over there. Also, the phone crossbody strap is a game changer. I swear by mine, Amber, it is, right? I'm telling everyone, like, get yourself this. If you get any gadget in the whole world, get yourself one of these, because you don't ever have to worry about setting your phone down, and you don't lose your brand new phone at a garage sale like I almost did. You are so welcome. Okay, we are going to put that in the tub, and we're going to move on to our next thing. All right, next thing we've got here, I'm going to be shocked if anyone knows what this is. I'm a punk girl. I'm an emo girl. So I am always looking and on the hunt for concert tees. This is a band called Sayasin. They are like an emo alternative rock kind of band. Very like 2000s. It's all the stuff I listen to. They're probably going to play a show with like, I don't know, like 4 Years Strong or Taking Back Sunday, something along those lines. Now, what makes this cool, and follow me on this, what makes this shirt really cool and crazy unique is it is also a collab. So it's got the Simpsons hair. So we got Bart Simpson's hair. And then we also have the Fiend skull, Fiend, from a band called the Misfits. So this is Sayasin with a Fiend Misfit skull with a Bart Simpson hairdo. If this was my size, there is no amount of money that you could have given me to sell this. This is literal fire, and I didn't see another one of these online when I quick looked. Now, I quick looked. I didn't do any time and research. I was at a garage sale, and I was trying to like quickly do it. Got this for $1. And this is why it's always important to ask people questions. So I roll up to this sale. This woman's got a Bad Religion t-shirt on, which is a band. It's a punk band. And I got to chatting with her and I was like, hey, you don't have any other band t-shirts, do you? Because I'm like, if she owns that t-shirt, she's got to own some other t-shirts. And she's like, oh, I think I've got one inside. So she brings this out. She said her husband had a whole bunch of other ones, but he wasn't ready to part with them yet. I was like, oh, because I can only imagine what was in that. They were like in their like 30s. So it was like, oh man, it would have been like some really cool, probably old fire Y2K stuff, but he wasn't quite ready to let go of it probably. And so I saw this one, so I was just like, dude, it's so super fire. Amber says, I just bought a second one today. I'm telling you, they're amazing. Yeah, that's a good question, Gracious. Amber, are we color coordinating? Everything I wear is basically black, so it's on my color coordination. And I very rarely even realize if anything on my body is matching. So, all right, let's get this up here. So if you see people wearing band t-shirts at a garage sale, just ask. I mean, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So if somebody, if I see one video game at a sale, you better bet your britches I'm asking if they have any more. If I see a pair of Vans or I see, some Diori or I see someone, I'm going to ask, hey, you guys don't have any more of this, do you? If I see any Ralph Lauren Y2K polos, I'm going to ask, hey, you guys don't have any more, do you? Because a lot of times what people are doing at garage sales is they're just pulling some stuff out of the closet that they don't use anymore. And if you ask them, they're like, you know what? I think I do have some more of those in the downstairs closet or whatever. The amount of stuff I have gotten from sales because I just asked if they had any more is bananas. Guys, I got 8 free PlayStation 4 games at a sale this weekend and 2 vintage gamer magazines because I just asked. I mean, you got to ask, right? All right. Mike's in here. Tenacious, I'm happy to see you today. Okay, let's get a photo here of our Sayazin t-shirt. I always fold the arms in a little bit because it allows me to get up a little bit closer with the t-shirt. I'm going to bring my exposure way down on this because otherwise it's going to look ridiculous. And I'll show you guys what I mean. Now, if you've ever been on here with me before, you've already seen this, but you know what? It's always good to get a reminder. So if you don't mess with your exposure in your photos, this is what happens. It takes a black looking t-shirt and makes it look like charcoaly gray. But if I bring the exposure down and I take a picture of it, it's a nice rich black t-shirt, which you guys can't tell from the looks of it back there, but that is a literal rich black t-shirt. Like it has barely even been washed. So don't snooze on the exposures. Vicky's here. Ooh, ooh. Nurse, welcome in. You know I'm always excited to see you. Okay, let's get the measurements on this puppy here. Yeah, man, I wish I would have had a chance to get this t-shirt in a larger size. I would rock this so stinking hard all the time, but alas, it is like not my size. I think this has to be a small. Yeah, it's a small. And I wear like a men's, I like a men's large t-shirt. I think I could probably do a medium, but I'm just more comfortable in stuff that's got a little bit of like bagginess to it. I don't like things being like, I don't like to wear like tight clothing. Oh my goodness. Our ruler is misbehaving. Stay. There. Stay. Don't you move. I see you trying to move. All right. And then we're going to lint roll this back here as well. Get rid of any of these little yucky filament yuckers. I use a brand called Kanezi. And I really like these because they don't peel back off each other. I have seen some interesting gadgets, and I have been mildly tempted to try them. Have you guys seen the little ad for the roller thing? Like I keep seeing it because I clicked on it once now, of course, but it looks like it takes the little hairs off pretty well. But I don't know. I never know whether to trust stuff when I see that. This is the brand I'm using right now, is the Kanezis. And I just get them when they're on a deal, which they probably are going to end up being this weekend. And all that's in the old link dinketer too, if you guys are trying to find it. So the other ones I used to get, the other what do you call it, lit rollers. Like I would roll and then the whole like thing would be like and like half of it would like fly off of it and I'd waste like 3 things and then I'd be in the room like fighting with it. I'm like, ah. And it was like Scotch Guard or something. Like it was a technically okay brand, but I don't know, man. They need somebody better designing theirs because it was not good. All right. Now, because this is on an Amble label, I know that this probably was bought at a concert. And how do I know that? I just know. I mean, that's kind of my pastime. I buy a lot of t-shirt concerts, concert tees. And so because of that, you just kind of get a feel for labels, just like people that can spot like women's clothes a mile away and be like, oh, that's a such and such brand. I'm like, I got nothing. You know, I try to keep up with people like Amber and Spencer and Kelsey and all the people that are really good at like the more female centric brands. But man, I don't know why my brain just doesn't retain it. Maybe it's because I don't wear it, so I'm not as interested in it. It's like you give me guys' clothes or vintage stuff, I'll remember everything. But I think that's how it goes in life. You always remember the things you're interested in, right? What did you decide to sell it for? The t-shirt. Does it look faded on there? Yeah. See how rich of a black it is? It's really rich black, but I think it's because of just all the lighting and stuff in here. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to sell it for yet. I haven't decided yet. I have to go on and see if there's any others. The fact that it's a small is kind of a bummer. However, it'll probably end up selling over on Depop. I would be shocked if this sold anywhere besides Depop or Grailed. Okay. So let's write that down. Riz is here. Gracious says, I have my photo station, if you could call it that, a separate area in my office. I'm trying to figure out how it fits in my office. Girl, I am in the same boat here. I am in a small room. So right here is the table that I use for like shoes. Here is all the clothes that hang up, and then the closet's got all of my supplies. We got our photo station and my desk, and I can literally touch from here to my photo station. I can touch. So I get it. I have rearranged this room probably 5 times now. And I got a shelf up here now for the boxes above this little closet thing, this hook that Justin put up for me. So that's been great, but you just got to keep going. Nurse is here. If you ever find a Wild Oats tag, those are pure gold. Concert venue merch only. Ooh, you know what, Riz? Did I know that? That sounds really familiar to me. I don't know that I would have picked out remembering that, but it sounds like it's bringing a thing in my head. Like it's bringing across something. Maybe I saw it on like a t-shirt bros thing or something like that. That's a good tip, you guys. Whenever you're in these lives too, write stuff down. Like write this stuff down, or at least that's how I remember stuff. So I photographed it in the foyer. Hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? I'm in a small house too. I get it. Like I am not in a large, gigantic home by any means. And I would totally do my setup like in my garage if I could, but it's like 103 degrees out there all the time. So that's just not even feasible. All right, next one we've got here. This is another band t-shirt. This is on a Pacific tag, which is interesting. So Pacific brand t-shirts are an older concert tee. I haven't seen one of these in a really long time. I thought that it was only in the made in the USA era. So this is what it looks like. Let me get my old eyes on. Let's put old eyes on and see if we can get any info, because this is an interesting one to me. So this is a 21 Pilots t-shirt. It doesn't feel super old though, because it doesn't have any like beefiness to it. Let's see. All right, so we got Pacific is the brand. 100% cotton. Fabric made in the USA. Assembled in Haiti. So it's definitely a Y2K, I would say, but it has like a not as, well, let's listen. What does it sound like? It's kind of like an in-between a treble and a bass. You know what? We're going to Google image this real quick and just see if we see anything. Because like I said, I haven't comped any of this stuff, you guys. This is all stuff I got, from a garage sale or whatnot. And I just buy stuff. Like if you're going to tell me a t-shirt is 50 cents or a quarter or $1, I'm just going to buy it. Like, I'm not going to sit there and comp because I know that there's no way I make less than, $10 on this. So there's no point in me doing the comps. Plus, it's always kind of hard to do at garage sales, especially if you go like this last weekend, there was like nobody out. It was I felt like I was like this community I put a garage sale on for me, which was great. I wish I got to 87 of them. I wish I would have been able to get to more, but 87 garage sales in a weekend isn't bad. So I'm going to do a little like Google image on this and see if I can pull anything up. Let's take a look here. We get our glasses, get our eyeballs on here. I'm not super familiar with 21 Pilots, so let's see. Here's one. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, it's not a huge seller then. Okay, so we've got like 13, 10, 18. Oh, it's a Hot Topic. How weird that Hot Topic had a Pacific tag though. That doesn't fit in my head. Okay, that one's gone. So the other thing you need to make sure you do, and this is really important with band t-shirts, is places like Spencer's or Hot Topic will do a re-release of a shirt, meaning like, let's say this concert happened in 2016 or 2015. They'll do a re-release like years later, and it'll be on more of a Hot Topic or Spencer's brand label. And so when you're doing this and you go in and you're like, oh, that t-shirt's only worth $10, look to match up the tag, because a lot of times the tag won't be the original concert's tag. It'll be a Hot Topic, or maybe it'll be a screen print now, and it used to be a paper tag. I'm just trying to find one that has a tag here that I can look at and give you guys an example. No, they don't. Why don't people take I look at these people's like pictures and it's like, why do they not take a picture of the tag? Do they think someone's just going to magically buy this out of the goodness of their heart? It's like, you got to get some information on there. Let's see. Sometimes Poshmark people are better about this. Oh, never mind. That's Pinterest. That's not going to work. Wow. I literally can't find one of these with anyone that took a picture of the tag. That's so funny. So I don't know. I'll have to do some other. Okay. Is that? Yeah. So here's one. Same t-shirt, totally different kind of tag. So I'll just have to do a little investigation and see on that one. I don't like to spend too much time on that kind of stuff, but do you consider that beefy? When Coley gets in here, I got a beefy tag for you guys. Hopefully she joins in. 80 freaking 7. What is 87? 80. What is 80 freaking 7? The Heat. What's up, Fetty? I love your picture. Good, great light. Where'd you get it? I made this, Angie. If you go to the link Dinketer in my bio YOE and you click on the old UB2Bs link, it'll take you over there to a 2-minute video and I'll teach you how I did that. Hello, Depop is picking up for me. Awesome, Fetty. Yes, high five. That's what I'm talking about. She made it. There's a video about it. Oh, 80 freaking 7. Is that a person? Oh, about garage sales? Oh, I don't know who that is. See, whenever you guys tell me someone, I gotta write them down. Is that the name of the person? Is 80? Oh, I did 87 garage sales. Oh my goodness. Welcome to Tuesday. I'm Charity, and the coffee hasn't kicked in yet. 87. I was thinking you meant there was someone whose name was 80 freaking 7. Yes, I went to 87 garage sales on Saturday. It was one community sale. I didn't even make it to all of them. I didn't even make it to the second. There was 2 community sales. There was one down south of me, and then there was one. Actually, both of them were down south, but one of them had a map, a Google map that you could go through. So I chose to go to that one. There was like probably 140 pings on this map you could go to, and I got to 87 of them, but that was all I could get to. I love your written speech. Oh my goodness, guys. All right. So we're going to have to do a little investigating on this one because these go for anywhere between $8 to $25, but it's going to depend on this tag right here. So it's going to depend on if I can find another Pacific one, or if I find an Anvil one, that'll probably tell me that it was a concert pickup. if I find them with screen printed, or I find them with one of those really skinny little, like kind of like the H&M divided labels are, you know what I'm talking about? That means that it is probably a reprint from like Hot Topic or Spencer's, or I've even seen some of these kind of shirts in like Old Navy and stuff like that, where they're just taking well, maybe not Old Navy, but you guys know what I'm doing, what you're talking about, where they take like a concert that happened a long time ago and then they try to remake it. All right, so we got a picture of the front here. We're gonna get a picture of the side. And sometimes that kind of stuff, spend 5 minutes on it, do your research, because you may end up getting a way better deal and selling it for way more. And then this one's got a little tiny pinhole in it. Now, pinholes on the black t-shirts, I started doing something recently and I'm kind of enjoying what I'm doing. It's really hard to get these in the photo when they're on the black material. So what I started doing was I started putting the ruler behind it, and then that way the person can see, and then I just catch kind of the light with the ruler. Oh man, this one is so small. I can't even really catch the light with it. I would rather someone know that it's there than not. And that also tells them how small that hole is. The light can't even catch behind it. But you know what? Our job is to disclose everything. Find it, even fill it, locate a problem, and solve it. Like, I am here to show you what is going on with this. I am not here to not show you what's going on. I disclose literally everything. It's not worth not doing that. All right, we're gonna get a picture of the back here. A little bit more lint roll action. For those of you that are building one of these, this is just string from the house for your lint roller. So you don't need to get anything fancy for that. I just happen to have some string from an old craft project. So that's what I used. And it seems to work pretty well. Like, I'm all about you using stuff from around the house versus using stuff, if you don't have to buy a little bit more. So I'll show you what I started doing. So this way the person can get an actual idea of the size of that. Rather than just pointing at it, that just shows the person, okay, that's how big the item. Now, this is something I came up with. I ain't seen nobody else do this. I'm just trying it out. It may be a good idea. It may not be a good idea, but that's what we do. I wonder if there's free stuff on their curbs. Tenacious. Are you saying that because of what I picked up this weekend on Saturday? I picked up all those boxes of that laser inkjet. Those laser inkjet boxes go for like over $40 a piece. And I got 4 of them brand new off of the curb. Like, people do that in community sales. That's why I love staying till the end of a community sale. And then I just kind of drive around to any of the areas I missed, because I don't want to go back to the areas I was already at. I already saw the stuff that those people had. So I want to see if there's anything that people just couldn't get rid of that was obscure. Man, the amount of shoes and cleats and printer toner and vintage dishes. I got a uranium glass on a curb one time. I was like, whoo, hello. So I love that. To carry things up. And the community sale you didn't go to, I know, Tenacious. If I could have gone any longer, I would have, man. It was like 1, it was a little after 1. I hadn't used the bathroom and I had eaten all my road stacks. So I was getting hangry. I was sweaty. I was drenched. I was like, all right, you gotta, it's time to go, Charity. Let someone else get those items. Section, yeah. Frog Ponds, what is good? I'm happy to see you. Jacqueline. Hello, Jacqueline. All right. So you got this one here. We're going to get a picture of this tag. And like I said, I really want to get the picture of this one, because I just have this feeling that this tag is going to be, you get those little gut things. And I have a feeling this tag is going to be what helps sell this, especially if none of the other ones online have pictures of the tags. I will have a picture of my tag. And the fact that it says made of US fabric is really interesting. You don't usually see this on these band t-shirts. So this could be one from like the original concert or something. Whenever this was, I will have to figure that out. How I figure that out is I go into Spotify and I look up the song or the album, and then I just look and see what the release date was. So that's my little trick. I do a lot of band clothes, and that's how I always find out what year something came out. It is the fastest way to find out. So Brianne or Brennan? Briannon. Hi. All right. So 11:47. Smells like Justin's cooking pot stickers. Like, is it just me or am I always hungry, you guys? I literally am always hungry. Like, it's just my life. I don't know why. I'm like literally always a hungry person. I'm the person like when I get the flu or something, I want to eat. So I want like chicken and a biscuit, and I want like Mrs. Grass's magic egg soup, and I want like rosemary Triscuits and applesauce and 7-Up and probably like a sandwich, probably chicken sandwich. Oh, that sounds so good. Oh my gosh. How does it always go back to the sandwich, guys? It always goes back to the sandwich. Now I'm hungry. Now I'm getting a chicken sandwich, and it's a whole situation. And now I'm not going to be able to get it out of my head because this is the way my brain works. When I get hooked on something, thinking about something, I can't stop thinking about it. All right. So length is 26.5. It's why I go to sleep with like a Mario song in my head, and I wake up to like, a Blink-182 song or something. It's like my brain is just constantly moving. And then our shoulders are 16 on that. Take Kara. All right, next item we've got here. So this is not something I would normally pick up. It's a Sean John. It's color block, but it's new with tag. So you show me a new with tag item at a garage sale for $1. I'm going to pick it up. So the retail on this originally was $54. It, of course, has the UPC and all the information on it. So it's a super easy list. And let's see if we've got a date on this one. I'm going to look underneath here and see. I don't buy a lot of Sean John, so I'm not sure if it says, oh, yeah, the inspection sticker is still on here. We got an extra button. Nope, I think that's all we're going to get for info on that. So made in India, so it's definitely, a newer modern-ish item. Hey, user 26 and AJ Unique Create or Unique Creations. It might be that. All right, so we're going to get the photograph of this. Also, make sure you get that tag in the label. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a picture of this first, and I'm going to put it in Google. So this is my method to my madness on new with tag photos. Okay, so I'm going to go into Google. Now, I can look this up by the UPC and go through all that, but I'm going to just put this in Google for a second, and I'm going to see what it pops up as. We're going to type in Sean John, and then we're just going to see if we get anything. Okay, so there's one for 25, 27, 14. Oh, I'm definitely not seeing this exact one, which means this may be older than I think it is. Like I said, this is not a brand I'm super familiar with. Let's do the little UPC thing on eBay. Yeah, it's not going to pop it up. Let's type it in. I know this seems like a lot of work to go through, but I'll show you why I'm going to do this in a second. So we're going to go Sean John, and we're going to put in, let's see, SKI. SKI is the name of it. And then 89520 Night Sky, and see if anything pops up. So we got the Night Sky jogger jacket is 50. So here is my method to my madness. If I pull this up and these are going new with tags for $90 now rather than $54, if I put this up for sale for $90 and someone sees it's $54 in the pictures, they are not going to think to themselves, oh, right, it's $90 now because that shirt's from 2013 and everything was less expensive back then. They're not going to think that. So if the MSRP number is higher than what I think I'm going to be asking for it, I'm going to leave it on. So either I'm going to cut it off if I think that I'm going to ask for more, or I'm going to leave it on if I think I'm going to ask for less. Now, on something like this, this is just not a super big brand right now. Let's go over to sold comps and just even see Sean John polo shirts. And we're just going to look up and see what we've got here. Yeah. So we'll go to filter. We'll even go so far as to go to condition new. So there is 68 of them brand new, all going for around $14, $15, $24, $23. Let's go to sold. So we got 68 available with tags. Our solds on that are 14. So that is not even 20% sell-through rate. So that tells me this is not a big seller. This is going to sell because of all the keywords: street style, streetwear, polo, preppy, prep, hip hop, rap, casual, color block, nostalgia, 90s nostalgia, all the things that's what's going to sell this, right? So I am probably going to ask less than $54 for it. So you bet your britches I'm going to keep that tag on there, because when someone is like, oh, wow, she only wants $43 for this and its MSRP is $54, heck yeah, I'm going to get that. Look at the deal I'm getting. So you're kind of playing that little mind game. Southern, I see you. Oh, Southern, I remembered what it was. Yeah, and because of the D. Yep. So I was going to bring that up, but if someone else is going to say that, I was going to just let it roll. Southern, remember when we were on yesterday and I was like, yeah, Southern, you missed it. We were talking about you, but I couldn't figure out why. It was the gadget. So you guys are on my new little like movable thing that Justin hooked up for me on the wall. So it made me think of you. That's the 99-cent mind game. Yeah. $2.99 is much better than $3. Exactly. You guys got it. You guys are on it. Exactly. So we are going to get a picture of this. And like I said, this is going to sell because it has literally nothing to do with the brand and has everything to do with the keywords that I use in this one. Now, I am going to remember how we were talking about getting stuff in pictures because we want to get those exposures. So you better bet that I am going to make sure that I get that MSRP in as many photos as possible, because that is going to be what helps to sell this item, is the fact that that is such a good deal, quote unquote, in their mind. So I'm going to flip this around here, probably need a little lit roll, and I'm going to make sure that the brand name shows again in the photos. We always want that because people will buy it because it's controversial as well. Don't forget, people don't just buy stuff because it's popular. Sometimes people will buy stuff because they want that shock and awe that people will have when wearing something. So this is a good example too of an item where I am going to use a higher exposure in the front when I take the photo. So I used +3 on the front. When I flipped it to the back, I brought it down to -0.7, which is going to help to capture that rich navy blue color that's there. So sometimes on the same item, especially color block items or items that have the lighter backs, lighter fronts, darker backs, or vice versa, you will need to mess with that exposure halfway through. So I'm going to get a picture of the tag here again. We're just going to get that tag in there as many times as possible, because we want people to see the insane and crazy deal that they're getting on that, right? Okay, anything else we need on that? Perfect. All right. So if you look at my photos here, I've got the MSRP there. I've got the logo on the shoulder there. I've got the MSRP in my chest measurement and the logo. I couldn't get it on the bottom one, but that's okay. And then at this top shoulder one, logo, MSRP. First one, logo, MSRP, exposures. Would you consider this dad core? I mean, if it was baggy and loose, maybe it's almost too like for dadcore. Dadcore is always a little bit more like, do I have any up here? I don't think I have any up here. Dadcore is more a little bit more like loose, like it's dad bod. This was way more like streetwear, street style, preppy style, preppy, preppie, 90s nostalgia, throwback, street, color block. That it's more that. I mean, it's so close to dadcore, but I wouldn't really call it that, especially with like the name on the side here in that kind of font. You just have to ask yourself, like, imagine the person that's wearing this, and then you're describing that person's aesthetic or what they would consider their aesthetic. And I don't think the guy that's going to wear this would consider himself a dadcore. I think he would consider himself a preppy, well-dressed streetwear look, in my opinion, anyways. Material tag, yeah, and it says 100% cotton on there. Tenacious, oh, no. Fresh prints in living color. Yeah, this is like if you mixed Fresh Prince and Carlton together, you're going to kind of end up with this. It's not quite Phillips Banks, right? We're not doing like the sweater look. But it's in that kind of like wheelhouse. It's not DJ Jazzy Jeff. He wore looser, baggier stuff. But like, yeah, if you mixed Carlton and Fresh Prince, I could totally see that. Oh, man. And the original, in living color. Is there anything better than that? I watch those like as often as I can find them. I watch them. Whoever wears that good smelling cologne, Coastal. Yes. Oh, we've been restricted for, who knows? Who even knows? Sure. Great. Choose something. I'm not, just a second, baby. Just a second. They're trying to restrict me. There we go. I can take your question in 42 seconds. Okay. Yes. What can I do to help you? No, they have not had lunch. Yeah. So anyway, moving right along. I feel you could do amazing Carlton dance. Tenacious. I wish. My brain and my body don't talk to each other when it comes to dancing. I couldn't do that if I tried. I literally couldn't do that if I tried. I tried out for drill team one time and that was a disaster. Like I don't have I'm like more like this. Like I'm more like the awkward. Like you give me something awkward to do and I'm down. But you give me something where I gotta do something, I'm gonna fall, something's gonna pop out. I thought you said dad. Oh, dad core celery. No, Golden. It just, they do this just, there's no rhyme or reason for the restrictions anymore. So you're more like Elaine. I think I'm more like Kramer. I think I'm more like Kramer. Okay, next one we've got here. Now, this is not something I would suggest picking up unless you're getting it for super, super cheap. So all of these like screen printed things, this is probably new, or it's 2017. So it borders on the like, okay, pick up 50 cents. You get it for 50 cents. It's a video game shirt. You do in the keywords, you do cosplay, costume, nerdy, nerdcore, geeky, geekcore. You do gamer, video games, obviously Zelda. You could do the different kinds of Zelda games. Like the people that wear this are looking for this very specific thing. I wear a lot of video game clothes, so I get it. I love Zelda, but it's not something that I don't love it as much as I love other stuff. So I'm going to pass this one along. And we'll probably only get like, I don't know, maybe like $13, $14 for it. But, you know, you give me a shirt for 50 cents and you tell me I can make $13 or $14 on it. There's no way I'm going to snooze on that. Like that would be kind of weird to do that, right? Okay, so we're just going to roll this down here. And looks clean, smells clean, just has some, it's been sitting in a garage sale look to it. So we're just going to get rid of all of those. And that probably brings up the question, which someone's going to ask next, which is, Do you wash the clothes when you get them? And the answer is sometimes. So I do what I call the S&S test. So that is the sniff and smell test. So I'm going to look at an item, and if it looks dirty, I'm going to go ahead and wash it. I'm going to smell it, and if it has a funky scent to it, I'm going to wash it. Like this one's got a little tiny spot there, but it's not anything that's like, it literally, this is probably because it was sitting outside. So I'm just going to take a little bit of water, and I'm just going to go over that there. We're going to get that off there. Any little things. Most people wash the clothes when they get them. I think there's probably, okay, question, and this is no judgment either way, I'm just curious. When you guys buy used clothing, do you just immediately wear it when someone gives it to you, or do you wash it when you get it? I mean, when I buy new stuff, which is so very, very infrequently, but when I buy new stuff, I even wash it. So I always wash everything that I get. And I guess I just kind of assume that other people are doing the same. Maybe they aren't, but that's kind of, you know what they say about assuming, but I just think that they probably are. Maybe in my head they are. All right, we're going to get a picture of the front here of this shirt here. We're going to go ahead and go down to, let's see, I think negative, we might have to go to -7 on this one too. Otherwise, it just looks too washed out. So let's take a look here. And that looks like the exact same color that it is. So that's what we want to see. Yeah, what do you guys think? Wash says blended, straight to the washer always, says Coastal. It's okay to dance like Elaine. I don't even remember. Is it like this? I'm trying to remember. Was this like the Elaine dance? Was like this and like did she try to do like the funky chicken or something like that? I mean, that's literally me dancing. I think of myself more as Kramer. I like walk in a room and I'm like, yeah, straight to the washer. So most of you guys do. Tenacious washes. I put that t-shirt on the second I got home with it. That's funny, Southern. Well, I think that passed the S&S test. That t-shirt was fire, by the way. Oh, Southern, I was watching a T-shirt bros thing. This guy I follow over on IG, his name's 888 Vintage. And he always finds like this really cool finds and stuff. You cannot make this up. He found one of those lightning shirts that you have. That the Caribbean island one. Well, yours didn't have a tag, I don't think, but I'm pretty sure that was a Caribbean island brand. Yeah, so that was pretty crazy to see that twice. And he's like, dude, these comp for so much. And I was like, oh, yeah, they do. Because that's like got to be like, what, a $70 t-shirt? Colin's cracking up. I'm more concerned about washing a retail item than a secondary market one. And I kind of agree with that, Riz. Like the stuff that they put in the clothes, like, I mean, I get like such weird anxiety stuff when I'm in places that have like tons of new clothing. And I know it has to be, your lips get dry and like everything feels weird. And it's got to be from the chemicals that are in there. I tagged you on his post. Remember the folding? Oh, Southern. That's right. You're the one that introduced me to him. So he just found one of those t-shirts. Go look at his last video. I was like, dude, no way. That makes it even crazier that you're the one that showed me him. That's right. You did. Hey, Tam. Hi.
Timer went off again. Just do the same thing.
So this time, no, this time you need to, just a second, guys. Wash hands, and then you're gonna sprinkle a little bit of regular flour on there. You're gonna pull it up, and then you're gonna pull the other side up, and then you're gonna fold, 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 fold. Put it on the counter, and then put the thing back over the top of it, the metal bowl. One more time. You're gonna wash your hands. You're gonna sprinkle some dough on it just so you can pick it up easier. You're gonna pick it up. It's going to turn it into a square. You're going to turn it. It's going to turn into a square. You're going to kind of jiggle it like this. And then fold, 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 fold. Just kind of keep folding it until you have a little ball. And then put that on the cutting board with a little bit of flour. And then put the metal bowl over it and set a timer for 2 hours. You need 3 times. You got it? You got it. Hey, honey, you know what? I believe in you. And you're made of magic. Okay. All right, so we're gonna get a picture of, I think, I don't think we did the shoulders. All right, shoulders. That was it. That was a reseller timeout. Life goes on even while you're working moment. Gotta have fresh bread for the week. How are we gonna have sandwiches? I mean, you can't have sandwiches without fresh bread. Like, let's go. All right, we're gonna get the chest here. And I'm not seeing any pinholes or anything on this. I do see a little bit of cracking just on the graphics, which is pretty typical. So I am gonna just get a photo of this from the side. I started doing that with any of the graphic t-shirts so people can see that that's on there. I just don't want someone to be like, I didn't realize that the graphics had 17 crack lines in it. It's like, bro, you're buying this used on the internet. You are not at Kohl's shopping for a t-shirt. So there's going to be a little bit of wear, and it certainly doesn't say new with tag. Now, that being said, most of this stuff I sell over on Depop. And if you guys could see the shredded shirts over there that I have sold for good money, it's kind of bananas. It's like Isaiah, I was talking to my son, you know, because he's obviously in the younger generation. And he's like, yeah, Mom, he's like, we just all know that you're just not going to find you stuff that doesn't have that. So we're just used to it. I think those of us that are not used to that being like a reality, I know when I first started, I would try to make everything like literally perfect because I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that someone was going to buy a totally shredded shirt and be happy with it. So, I mean, all right. Are we making homemade pizza? No, but that sounds so good. I should totally do a pizza this week. Let's see. Are you doing cooking classes now? I'd love that recipe. My sourdough recipe? Absolutely, I can share that one. I had to ruin 10,000 loaves to literally figure out how to make the most perfect sourdough ever. No way I remember all of that. Blended, he has watched me make 20,000 loaves of bread. So he'll get it. He's a smart guy. You don't know. Hey, you don't know. I don't know. You don't know. We don't know. Who doesn't know? All right. And then we're going to get a picture of the tag of this. And because it's a Nintendo one and it's an actual Zelda release, it's a 2017. It's definitely going to be worth a little bit more than just like kind of one of the knockoffy ones with a tag or something like that. That being said, I still don't think it's going to be some crazy banger. But I mean, if we get $15 for it, for a 50-cent shirt, I'll be happy. Sourdough's live at the tantrum restaurant doesn't have it. Gracious, I'm with you. It's literally the only thing we eat here. Like, I don't buy bread from the store. Guys, I am literally the cheapest person alive. I don't buy anything from the store. I like to like make everything, or we just buy the same 20 foods all the time. And so we just use the sourdough for everything now. I don't, every once in a great while, we'll get like, you know, buns, like brioche buns or something like that. But they just, I don't know. It's like you get used to eating the bread that doesn't have any of the other ingredients in it. And then you just crave just the regular simple one. Like my sourdough recipe is literally flour, distilled water. I put a little bit of garlic powder in it and then salt. That's it. And then when I do my last tuck and folds, I cut up a little bit of, because I've got a little arrow garden Justin got me for Christmas last year. And so I cut a little bit of basil, cut a little rosemary or a little parsley, and I just put it inside of it. And then I roll it up together. So it gets this really cool, like green herbs through it after it bakes. And that's it. I mean, when you get so used to eating that, when I try to eat stuff that has like other ingredients in it, it's like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? When you have the fresh stuff and then you go back, it's like eating, you know, eggs from Walmart or eating like farm fresh eggs. Like there's just a difference. Okay, so this is our Zelda, and this is a 2017. I didn't see any pinholes in it, which is actually pretty impressive. A lot of these new shirts all have pinholes because there's so much lycra and so much, you know, garbagey fibers in it. They don't make shirts like they used to, as we know. So it's actually pretty surprising to not see any of that. That's kind of like a treat to see a shirt that has been loved and doesn't have that in there. Okay, and then we've got shoulders at 18.5. I say I'm pretty good in the kitchen, but I got to try my hand at sourdough for sure. Yeah, it's just one of those things you just try over time and eventually you get better at it. Like I said, I made just some awful loaves for a really long time, and it took me a long time to get my starter down and get it like really going. My starter's name is Odo, like Odo from Deep Space Nine, because I'm a Star Trek nerd. So you got to name it, you got to love it, you got to feed it. I've had mine for a while now. So I only feed it once a week now, but when I first had it, I had to feed it like every couple days, and I'm constantly doing discard. It's a lot of work at the beginning, but once you just like, it's just like anything with consistency, right, guys? No belly snags or seed. Nope, no belly snags, no seed pops. None of that. All right, next one we've got here. This is a little Vegas t-shirt. That's a Fruit of the Loom. I don't think this is crazy old, but it's definitely Y2K. Just judging by this Fruit of the Loom tag. And it's in really good condition. I can also tell it's Y2K. Listen, ready? Base. It's not going to be as old as, say, this one. Low. And it's not going to be as new as, say, this one. Listen to that treble. Oh, yeah. That ain't a vintage boy. That's so funny.
Folded, sitting on
Yep.
cutting board.
Yep. Bowl over it, the metal bowl back over it. Nope, just the bowl over it and 2-hour timer. Honey, did you ever know that you are my hero? Ah, it's gonna be good, honey. It's your first sourdough loaf. Oh yeah, if it's good, it's you. If it's not any good, it's me, right? Yeah, right. It's gonna be perfect, and you know it. It's going to be delicious. Southern was talking about using dough for pizza. Now I've got pizza on the mind, so that's a situation. Now I'm not going to be able to stop thinking about pizza. Oh, don't we have a pizza in the freezer? Oh, we don't have any pineapple, though. Don't judge me on the pineapple. We don't have any pineapple, though, right? All right. So this is a fairly large t-shirt. This is a 3XL. What is going on that sleeve? Is that my lighting or? Oh, yeah, just my lighting. Okay. All right. Every once in a while I see something and I'm like, what is that? It has that like little bit of like, it got washed with something that was maybe a little bit lighter than itself. Am I going to take the time to redo all that? Nope. Absolutely not. So on this one, you really want to make sure that you're folding in the sides, because otherwise, if this is spread out and you're taking a picture of it on flat lay, or you're taking a picture like this, by the time it fits in the frame, it's going to be so stinking small that it is not going to be what you want it to be. People are just going to scroll past it. So I'm going to get a picture of the front. So I think this has got to be like a 3XL. Is it? Yeah. Yeah. So this is a 3XL. So I was like, this feels like a bigger t-shirt. Okay. And then we want to get the tag in there, get the shoulders in there. We're going to get the length in there. I don't see any pinholes on these kind of tourist t-shirts that are kind of thick and meaty like this. On the beefy ones, you don't typically see a lot of pinholes just because of the material quality. So how I'm going to sell this one is because I'm going to call it a tourist t-shirt. So there is a whole market out there of people that are looking for like that tourist, my mom went to Bermuda and all I got was this lousy t-shirt kind of situation. So there's an entire market for that. So this is going to fit kind of like that t-shirt, skater, streetwear, retro kind of thing that's going on right now. Smitten Kitten. That's just fun to say. Smitten Kitten. That's gonna be my fave new name for the day, I think. All right, so we got a picture of that back, and then we'll get a picture of the tag here, and then we'll move on to a super banger for sure. We're gonna get that one in there. Okay, so we got Fruit of the Loom. We're gonna get a picture of the tag here, and then yeah, we got the 100% cotton in there. Good. Okay. And then I always look on these too to see sometimes in these tourist shirts in very tiny writing, there'll be a date. If they're from the 80s or 90s, they almost always have them. Anything after that, not as much. But those graphics are great. Those are super crisp and nice. So we're gonna get this folded up and get it ready for its new owner. Do you resell baby items? You know what, Kay? I don't. It has been so very many years since I had a little one that I don't know that I would even have my pulse on. I don't even know that I'd have my pulse on what would be good or what wouldn't be good. That being said, man, I go to garage sales and there's just tables and tables and tables of it. I think if I knew what I was looking for, maybe, but it's not something I feel passionate about. So it's not something that I would seek out to do. Now, I know there's a market for it. I know there's a lot of people that do really well with kids' clothes, but I think you really have to have your pulse on the brands that work. Let's see. Charity, tell about side seams versus tubular construction and tees. Okay, let's see. Do we have one here? Yes. Okay. So side seam tees are going to be ones where they cut this in different fabric swatches and then they sewed it together. So you've got like the side here, and most Nike t-shirts have this. Not all. Most Nike t-shirts I've come across have this because a lot of times they will hide the information in a little tag here on the side. And this is going to give you your date. So this one says FA10, which tells me that this was made in fall 2010. Now, older t-shirts, depending on the year, here's one that doesn't have it. So this one has, this is what's called a tubular t-shirt, meaning that this is all one bulk round. And so you don't have the side seam on this. Why is that important? Side seam t-shirts are always going to give you a more boxed construction look. There's a reason why Nike t-shirts do that. Adidas usually does that, although I wouldn't pick up Adidas anymore. A lot of your bigger name brand ones will do that too, the more expensive brands, because they want things to stay very nice and even and equal. The tubular t-shirts, in my opinion right now, are probably more popular because it gives much more of this flow. There isn't a line or seam here to break up that loose movement. And that loose and baggy aesthetic is so big right now. It's a cheaper looking construction, but it is what's popular now. Let's see, do I have any other ones here? No, I don't have any other ones up. I hope that that makes sense. And Riz, if you have anything to add to that, please do. I would say right now, trying to pick up vintage ones that have the more loose and baggy aesthetic is going to be better. Now, when that goes out of style and the box look is more popular again, then you're going to want to look for more of these seamed edges. And these kind of trends go in and out. It's like Junko jeans are so hot right now. I mean, you literally couldn't keep them in your store for anything. A year from now, 2 years from now, maybe. I mean, look at some of those bigger brands, you guys. Look at Carhartt. Carhartt used to be like the top. You see Carhartt, you never pass on it. And now it's like, if it's vintage, yeah. If it's a jacket, yeah. If it's overalls, yeah. Double knee shorts, double knee pants, all day, baby. Carhartt t-shirts, meh. Carhartt hoodies, unless they're like in the vintage, like olive color spectrum, like you just, trends and brands go in and out like that. You are welcome. Someone came to see me for really old Levi's. Are those actually a big deal? Is there a mark? Yes. Yes. There is I pay my bills selling Levi's. So speaking of Levi's, let's get a pair out. So right here, we've got a pair of orange tab, huge. You want to look for that. It does not have a big E. I would be very excited. It's got, listen to this patch. This is vintage and it's still in that good a condition, this is bananas. You don't see these kind of pants in this kind of condition. It's got one little spot here. I don't know if that is a come out spot or if that is a spot. Oh, I think that's a come out spot. So I can just go like that. Boom, done. These are crazy. And I'm going to show you how to time stamp these. Look at the Riz. Look at this. Look at the hems on these. Look at how crispy these are. Like literally fresh. I mean, they're not selvage or anything, but like, look at that. That is like, to see this age, these have got to be like, what, like 94s or something? In this age, it's just bananas. So wild. Okay. So yes, there is a huge market for Levi's. Now, that being said, Levi's are all over the place. And what I mean by that is it's going to really depend on the cut of Levi's. Your cut and your age, or the date that they were made, is really what's going to put things over the edge. So if your pants are like if you can find like baggy 569s, huge, so big, so amazing. If you can find silver tabs, amazing. Orange tags in the back, amazing. 505 classics are great. 501 button flies are great. 517 boots, amazing, because flares are so big right now. But if you're just finding a pair of like 511 women's style skinny or indie, fine. $16 or $17 is about what you're going to get from. Now, I always pick them up because I get them for $1. Women's Denizen. If you're getting it for $1, pick it up. If you're not worth it. Really small styles, not worth it. The other thing you want to look for in Levi's, if you can, is having the length longer than the waist. So if you can find a pair of like 34, 36s, that's kind of where that's like the bread and butter right there. Even 36, 36s, or 32, 34, 32 starts to get a little small. 34, 36, man, you give me a pair of 34, 36s and I'm happy. Or they're really big sizes. So you give me a 60 by 34 or a 60 by 40, I'm going to sell those all day, every day, because those pants are hard to find. So thanks, Secondhand Mom, for the follow. I think they have been hemmed. I just noticed that. It's so funny when you said that, Riz. I just noticed that when I was brushing them off. I was like, I think those have been hemmed, which is fine. Great. Doesn't really matter. I wish it probably would have stayed longer, but that's okay. Probably would have got $10 more for them if they were longer. That's so funny. I totally saw that too. Sometime, not today. Yeah. What about Lee? Nah, not really. Unless you're finding some really cool old Lees that have like, a weird waistband, or their mom jeans real small with like the balloon sides, and they're truly vintage. You find a pair of like super actual vintage Lee pants, pretty good, especially if you can find the ones in colors. But other than that, no. Same thing with Wranglers. I don't buy a lot of Wrangler jeans. I'll do Wrangler Pearl Snap, Wrangler Brush Popper is another one for you guys to look at. Brush Popper is a type of vintage material that they used to use that's got like almost has like a slightly waxy feel to it, and it helps to be water resistant. So people like rodeo cowboys, it was really popular for workwear. And it's become like a popular thing that people look for now. You can usually get like $70 or $80 for a Brush Popper Wrangler. So a lot of that kind of stuff just really has to do with what's in style right now. I hope that makes sense. I hope that I didn't go off topic too much there. Once I got yelled at because I didn't say Strauss on my Levi's listing. No, that's silly, and that person needs to go away. You should just block them. That's absolutely silly. Love to find some vintage mom jeans. Yeah. And I have come across those Lee's mom jeans. Like I said, if you can find the ones that are like the balloon cut or even like the paper bag cut, you definitely are going to get a little something in there. But not all of them. It's like Jordache. Jordache is the same way because not everyone remembers Jordache. So same thing with like Gitano. That's another one. Bongo jeans. Guess jeans, but only if you could find the old ones with triangles. Any of the new ones. If it doesn't have a triangle, don't even try to list it. Charity, tell them about chain stitch on hems and waistband. I don't know what that is, Riz. You have to tell them. Chain stitch on hems. I don't know what that is. Yes, teach me something. Riz, teach us something. Thank you. What about Wrangler jeans? No, not unless they're if you can find made in the USA ones, or if they have the cotton logo on them. And if you don't know what that is, just Google like vintage cotton logo and you'll see it. If anything that has that vintage cotton logo or the wool logo, either of those will be good. But otherwise, you can't date Wranglers. There's no system for it. They don't have a time stamp. So the only way you know how old Wranglers are is if they say made in the USA and they have like the old tags, or they don't. And then you're just guessing. So I used to pick up Wranglers at the beginning all the time, and I'm buying them for $1 and flipping them for like $9 or $10 at the most. Like, is it worth it? I guess it's $8, but after all the fees and stuff, it's like $6. And I'm taking all the time. It's just not really worth it. I know we're not photographing, guys. I'm just taking a mild break here to have some coffee. Braxton jeans. I am not familiar with Braxton jeans, Golden Girl. That's not ringing a bell to me. I found Bongo with a lion head on the thigh today. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, wow. I know exactly what that looks like. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. I can literally see the silhouette. That's so funny. Yes, Riz, tell us what that is, because I don't know. Chain stitch. I'm writing that down. Chain stitch on hem. What was it, Riz? Chain stitch on hem or waistband. I'm gonna look that up really quick here, because now you got me peaked. Chain stitch on hem or waistband. What is that? Chain stitching is commonly used on both the waistband and leg seams of jeans. Chain stitching is a traditional stitch. Oh, we got to do our little thing here. Chain stitching is a traditional stitch that uses a single continuous thread that loops back on itself. It's stretchier than lock stitch and creates a roping effect when washed. Oh, that's interesting. So is there an image of that? Okay. All right. So it looks a little something like that then. Is that right, Riz? Is that what it looks like? Where it's like more kind of roped in versus just like the regular looking stitch. That's really interesting. I didn't even know that was a thing. See, you learn something new every day. Let's see, what else do we got? Wranglers switched to plastic patches in the 90s. That helps to date. Yes, and that is true. Also on the Wranglers, if it's got the white label with the red stitching, you also know that it's older too. They were a big thing in the 70s. That's all we wore. Braxtons. Yeah, it's just before my time, so I don't remember it. Chain stitch looks like crochet on the back, uses only one thread. That is really interesting. I've never noticed that. Ooh, I love learning new things. Cool. Okay, Riz, so that's what that looks like. That's interesting. Now I'm going to have to, do they do it? What's the purpose of it? Does it hold up better or anything like that? I learned about single stitch tailoring earlier today in a random article I read. Okay, back to it, guys. Let's get a photo here of our jeans. Okay, we're going to go to -3 for our exposure on this. I think it's going to give a true tone. I don't like that. All right, we're going to try 0 on that. Look at your photos, peeps. If you see it and you're like, that is not look, when you bring your camera down, if you're like, that does not look like what those jeans look like, that's much better. Then don't do it. So I wonder what these were to start with, because that's definitely a shorter hem now. That's a bummer, man. If these were back to the original hemline, that would have been great. At least the hem was done well. I was wondering why it was so perfect feeling. I was like, how are these jeans that old? Wow, this got a really high rise too. What is our hips on this? We got 38 hip, and that is a serious rise. Holy cow. Yeah, that is almost a 12-inch rise. I would say that's a little over 11 on that. That is wild. And this is going to make me unhappy because it's going to be like a 27. Yep, that's okay. You know what? They got an orange tag. They're vintage. They'll still sell. They're just going to sell to someone that wants that baggy look that's not quite as tall. Or someone that wants to be able to roll them up to give it like that kind of like rockabilly or old 50s style look. And they're going to get a picture of the back. And then super important when you get Levi's, make sure you're getting a photo of this back area. People want to see what color is the stitching. They want to know what kind of tag is on here. Is it white? Is it black? Does it have the Levi's? Does it have the R trademark? And then they want to see the crispness of this patch here. People want it. Some people like to have crispness. Some people like to not have crispness. So this is going to be the world's most interesting pair of 517s that anyone has ever seen, because these were boot cut. And unfortunately, because they hemmed them, they are no longer boot cut. So let's date stamp these though. Okay. So looking at our inner tag here, what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over. Now, this is how you date vintage Levi's. This is not new Levi's. You're going to look for the CW. On old Levi's, how you're going to tell, and I can tell just by looking at it, but I'm going to walk you through this. So what you want to do is get on old eyes. We're going to look for the button code. So our button code on this is 515, and you're going to find that on the back of the top button. And then what we're going to do is we are going to take our label and we're going to look for 515. So we see it right there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the next 4 digits. And yeah, these are the exact year I thought they were going to be. So the next 4 digits say 0494, which means these were created in the 9th month of 1994. Now, if this was a new pair of Levi's, it would say CW something. So let's say it said CW 4020. That would mean it was created the 40th week of 2020. So once you see the CW on any of the Levi's, the 4 digits after that is going to be the week of the year and the year. On the vintage Levi's, it's the month and then the year. Does that make sense? If anyone is confused, let me know so I can clarify. Because once you learn how to read these Levi's tags, then you can put the date in your pants and you will win over the other Levi's that are up, because so many people do not put the date. They'll just say vintage or they'll say retro or something like that, but they won't say the actual date. Riz is a heartbreaker. These are 27s. They were a 32 517 boot cut. Oh, through the heart. What did they do? What did they do? All right. What did we miss here? How do you manage sewing on multiple selling? I cross list. I use Fashion Wings. I use something called Vendoo, Vendoo. If you go to the link Dinketer in my bio, you can click on it and it'll take you over to something that says Vendoo. You can read about it. What it does is it allows you to have all of the platforms in one area so that you can cross list onto all the platforms from one item. So what I'll do with these is I'll list these on eBay, then I'll import it into my computer on Vendoo. And then from there, I just cross-list it to the other platforms. It's very self-explanatory, very, very easy. And I think you get to a little trial thing if you follow that link Dinketer, and you can try it out. That's how you do it. I can't imagine doing it manually. Why does that make you unhappy? So Fashion Wings 517s, which is a boot cut Levi, is insanely popular right now. It's like a flared look. If these were an orange tag 517 boot cut, the value of them is just way higher. But being that they cut the boot cut area off and now they are more of a straight leg, I just won't be able to get as much for them. They've taken off because, like I was saying, you always want, if you can, to find jeans. The most valuable jeans you're going to find, and this goes for Levi's or most men's jeans, is if it has a smaller waist and long legs, because especially in Levi's, they shrink so much. So let's say you're a dude and you wear like a 34, 36. Your Levi's are going to shrink up to like a 33, 33 or after a few washes. So a lot of guys will buy used Levi's that were originally longer because now it fits them. So this person here has to truly be a 27 inseam, which is going to be really short, meaning that it's going to have to be either a shorter person or it's going to have to be someone that wants to like cuff roll them up and do like an eclectic grandpa or a zoot or a rockabilly, or a sad boy look. It's going to have to be something like that. So it's just going to be less people I can find that are going to be interested in that. So it's always a heartbreaker when I see that. I'm like, no, don't see him. I got him for $1 though. So it's all good. Denim enthusiast will flip up cuff to show chain stitch, same as selvage status looks. That's so interesting because obviously I know that about selvage, but I just didn't know that about that stitch. So I'm going to have to keep my eye out for that now. See, you learn something new every day. That's so important for us to always be helping each other because I would never have known anything about that. Mrs. Risner is fire always. So you put a date on your new ones too. Yeah, I do. That way the person just knows what they're getting into. 2 hours. Yeah. Thanks, babe. Are there any Levi's numbers you avoid no matter what? Just like the women's ones, like the women's Denizen. For probably 511s, if they're like super, super trashed, probably not going to pick those up right now because that kind of like emo leg look isn't really that big. Now, new Levi's that are there, the new Levi's 511s, they're doing this new thing, and they're calling it room to move or room to, I think it's room to move, and the reason they're doing that is just because that sad boy look is like not huge right now, but some people still like that skater indie look. It's kind of like if you guys ever find Levi's cycling Levi's, what they are, they're these Levi's that have like a extra piece of material in the middle, and they do that so people can bike, like messengers and people that deliver stuff on bicycles and stuff. They kind of have that like sag in the center. So some of the new 511s are okay, but like the other ones, now I still sell them. I pick them up for $1, but I just wouldn't seek them out like at a thrift store. You are so welcome. You remind me of Nina Poole. I love her. All right, we're writing a name down. I like to find out who that is. Is that person on TT, or am I just wild and I don't know who that is? Hi, Penny. Okay, next thing. This is a banger. All right, Riz, I think you were on Saturday. I'm not sure. All right, this jacket. It looks like an unassuming jacket. Dude, this thing has some history. Okay, so number one, if you look at the tag here, you will see that the size on it is really weird. It says 56, which this is not a like American 56. It also has these really interesting kind of Velcro-y things on the back. It has a cinch in the middle here, like where you can cinch it up. And look at this tag. It's got this really old tag that is not in American writing. And then it's got really old care tags as well. So here's the history on this jacket. This garage sale I went to, this guy used to be in the military. He's retired now, and he's been retired for quite a while. But him and his wife had taken a trip over to Budapest, and over there was this store selling old COMM stuff. I don't want to say it. From back in the day, from when you know where. And since that country is no longer that, they want to get rid of all this old military style surplus stuff. So they got the store where all this stuff is like super inexpensive and you can go in and get it. The locals don't want it because they see it as something from old times. They don't want anything to do with it. So they're just like giving this stuff away. So this is a jacket from there. Now, this is about as rare as you can get. This thing is going to take a minute to sell, but when someone reads and realizes what this is, they're going to want it. Number two, there is a movie called Red Dawn. Does anybody remember this movie? Okay. Super old movie. Let me see if I can find. All right. Here we go. 1984, Red Dawn. Does anybody remember this movie? Look at those handsomes. Gorgeous, beautiful, amazing actors and actresses in that. In this movie, the leader of the resistance, meaning the other country, is literally wearing this jacket. Now, not this exact jacket. This is not his jacket, but this exact style of jacket. So I'm going to be able to utilize that in that listing. Because of all of these things and the story behind this, I think I'm going to be able to ask a pretty penny for it. I think it's going to sit. I think I'm going to get some lowball offers on it. But I think that a person's going to come along and the right person's going to purchase it. And I'm so cool with hanging out for that person to come along. What Riz said. Exactly. That's exactly it. Yep. So really, really cool, really unique item. I got it for $5. So there's no way that we, don't make $5 on this. And I will get a picture I don't normally take like stock photos ever because SEOs catch that. But what I will do is get to that part of that movie. I will get a picture of that person in it and include it in my listing. I did the same thing with a Burberry jacket because I found a very old photo from a magazine from like back in the 80s of that 1980s Burberry I have, and I included that in there. It's my own screenshot. It's my own thing. So it's not like it's someone else's I'm using. And yeah, I'm going to roll with that. Like I said, I don't normally do the stock ones. And the reason I don't do that, in case you're wondering, I know a lot of resellers do it and a lot of people have success with it. But number one, you're not technically supposed to do that. And number two, if you're using the same screenshot or you're using a stock photo from another company, that photo's already been on the internet. It's already been looked at and searched a million times. So all you're doing is feeding to a pond that already has a million drops in it. Like you're not the original droplet of water. You just get lost in the mix. And the way that search engines view it is they view it as a duplicate image. And if it's a duplicate image, it's considered lower on the rating scale for algorithms to show. And so it's just not something that you really want to do. Now, I'm going to have a bunch of resellers disagree with me on that, and that's fine, because you know what? Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and like I encourage you guys to, always think for yourself. I've always said I beat to the drum of a different drum, and I know a lot of you guys do too. So if it works for you and it's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying for me, I don't do it, especially because I have worked in digital marketing before, and I did that for a lot of years. And so I just kind of know why you don't. But man, there's a lot of people making way more money than I am that do it and do just fine with it. So fashion wings. Yes, it is very interesting. That is for sure. So you got to get pictures of all of this stuff because there's so many little like caveats to this that, it's just so wild. It's like, this is probably one of the most unique finds I think I've ever had. I don't think I've ever had a find, actually, when I think about it, I don't think I've ever had a find this unique. Like, this is such an interesting, I'm going to have to use like Google Translate on some of these words that are on here because I don't know what they mean. Like, I have no idea what that means. CSURG and then a symbol that I don't understand. So really neat, really cool. I'm going to get a picture of this inside and then we will move on to the next item here, just so people can see what it looks like on the inside here. All right. Yeah. Always up. You're describing my life because I feel like I'm always up. Oh, I don't know if anyone else had a hard time sleeping last night. I woke up in the middle of the night. I don't know if any of this happens to you guys, but if I wake up in the middle of the night, I get like this really short window of time where I can go like use the restroom, maybe take my thyroid MEDSs and like just quickly get back in bed and hopefully fall back asleep. But if I don't do it in like this perfect amount of time, then what winds up happening is I'm just awake. So that happened to me at like probably 3:30 this morning. I literally woke up and I was like, uh-oh. So I go in, use the restroom and everything real quick. And then I come back, I take my thyroid stuff, and I got back into bed and I'd almost fallen back asleep. And then my body did that like, and like jerked awake, like I was falling asleep too fast in my dream. And I was just awake. So I was awake for like an hour or something. I was like, no. Thanks for the follows and hearts, you guys. I see it too, by the way. Mike, you woke up about 4 times. Interesting. Risner, what does that mean? What is that? What is that? I don't know what that means. Yeah, man, I just could not believe that I was awake all the night. I hate when that happens, but every morning at 3. Oh, do you wake up every morning at 3, Mike? Like on the dot? Hey, Botox. Well, and that's the other thing that happens too, is if I do it 1 or 2 nights in a row, then all of a sudden my brain believes that it's a pattern. Cyrillic. Oh, that's the language. Thank you. Thank you, Riz. On tag. I'm calling it the Red Dawn coat. Awesome. Thank you, because I would have like struggled to figure that out. 3's when I go to bed, says Nurse. Well, Nurse, you were going to bed. I was waking up in the middle of the night. I even turned, I'm in the middle of watching Star Trek. I go in between Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Next Generation. So I'm in the middle of Voyager right now. So I put that back on in the middle of the night, like anything I could do to help me fall back asleep. Haven't had a good night's sleep in months. Auntie, I know why. You've been going through it. No, I have to get up a little earlier these next 2 weeks. So I guess my body keeps saying, oh, well, Mike, that might be a good thing in a weird way. Chica Pepsi, what is going on? All right, next one we've got here is another total banger. I mean, look at this thing. Hi, baby. What's this? This is mine. This was my mom's. This is the house of a reseller. When you never know what is your clothing and what is someone else's. Those are mine. Those are the ones Isaiah gave me. And these are mine too. All mine. Thanks, babe. Okay, so look at this tag, you guys. Look at how old that is. It says track and court. Care instruction over. Large. Made in the USA, obviously. So this is like an old track. Or is this like, what is it, tennis? Is this like a tennis thing? I mean, this has to be 70s. This just screams 70s to me. All day, every day. Like, this is crazy. So I got this at a garage sale with a bunch of other vintage stuff. It does have some pilling. I'm going to try to get some of it off. Sometimes on these 70s ones, it's like it doesn't want to come off. It's just like it's been there so stinking long. So I always spend like a minute on it, but I'm not going to invest tons of time. If somebody wants to buy this and depill it themselves, they can. I'll knock $2 off because I am not trying to spend a bunch of time. Time is money. So it's like for me, I'd rather discount something $2 or $3 than stand there and pill it. Doing the lint roller is one thing because you're getting off like little hairs and stuff like that, right? I mean, that makes sense. But like, I'm not gonna sit here and depill a sweater for an hour or something. Now, if I was a baby reseller still, and I was doing this in the beginning, I probably would have. I would have sat there for 2 hours trying to make it perfect. And that would have just been such a silly thing to do. So we're going to get a picture of that. And that looks darker than what it actually is. So I'm going to go ahead and brighten this up. Again, I don't want someone getting something and then being like, oh, this is not what I was assuming it was going to be. So yeah, that looks much better. All right, let's get our measurements here. And then we will do our length and our width and our sleeves and our chest. It's very soft. Like I can totally see somebody like getting this either as like a serious thing or getting it because they want to always check the pockets. Do you have anything weird? 2 pieces of paper. 3 little pieces of paper, probably a receipt from like 1972 or something. I can totally see someone wearing this for real, but I can also see someone getting this for like a Halloween costume or something. You know what I mean? Like, oh, speaking of that, I got to get those Halloween masks up. I got to find those today. Let's see. Hey, Siri. Hey, Siri. Nope. Sometimes she don't listen. Oh, I've got my airplane mode on this way. Hey, Siri. Remind me later to find those Halloween magazine or masks at like 6 o'clock. Okay, perfect. All right, we're gonna get a picture of the back here. And I don't really see any flaws with this. Mine is just that it's got that little bit of pilling, but it's a pretty cool jacket. Looks like it has some rayon in it. It says it's 100% acrylic. So I don't know what that, I don't know what that means back in that day, because acrylic back then was different than the acrylic is now. It's like a very different kind of feeling. So when you feel like a newer piece that's acrylic, and Riz, this is probably a question for you. Why is it that when I feel something that's acrylic that's made now, it feels completely different than acrylic back in the day? The acrylic back in the day all has like a softer feel to it. This acrylic now is always more like starchy or like a sharp or something. I don't know how to describe it. Fabric shavers are awesome. They are. And if someone wants to take the time to literally depill every little piece of that, they can. I'm just not going to do that. Do you have a video on your setup for picture? I do. Sonia, if you go over to the 2Bs, that's UBs, which is in my link dinketer up in my bio YOE. I have to say all of that because we're on TT. If you click on it, it'll take you over to the 2Bs, that's UBs. I got a 2-minute video over there. Just look for NiceComps. You'll see it, and it will tell you everything you need to know about that. Man, the inside of this is like insanely soft. This might be one of the softest sweaters I've ever felt. That is really wild. I was not expecting that. Holy smokes. Literally, I'm not kidding. It's literally the softest I've ever felt of anything ever. Just, are you right here? Justin? Nope. I was going to have him feel it. I want him to feel that. That is crazy. You guys should feel this. I'm not kidding. That is the softest feeling thing I've ever felt in my life. That is softer than all the little fleece blankets and stuff we have. I have to send you a picture of my new, Botox. Yes. Find me on IG. It's just NiceComps. Find me over there and send me, because you can't do photos over here. You are welcome. Stop. It's spinning process. Acrylic can be extracted in many ways. Costs more to do it that way. So that's why it's so much softer from the stuff from back then. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I'm telling you, Riz, this is honestly, I've never felt a sweater so soft. It's softer than cashmere. So that is, whoever gets this is going to be stoked, because they're going to put it on not expecting it to feel like that. And it totally has this soft, I mean, it just looks like a regular like hooded or a regular sweatshirt material. And it's like literally, it feels like butter. It's amazing. Riz is always here to help us out, man. I'm telling you, the amount of information in that woman's brain about this stuff, you would never think a 4th grade teacher would know all of this. Throwback. All right, and this one doesn't have a label on it, so we got to put a little tag on it. All right. And I'm going to do one more after this, and then I think I'm going to actually grab myself something to eat. Let's do, did Coley ever come in? I'm not sure if she was in here. I'm going to hold off on that one because of the tag. I have so many more. We got so many more vintage Levi's and stuff. Let's see. What should we do next? Let's do this one. So I showed this one on Saturday, but I got it all steamed. Riz, look at this puppy. Beautiful. This embroidery is absolutely like top line, like perfect embroidery. The stitches are all like literally flawless. This thing has never been worn. It's got the old metal buttons, because this is vintage. It's got the old metal buttons. They're shiny, and it doesn't even have a spot. It's a vintage ASW. This is a brand that did, they used to do a lot of old sports jackets, sportswear, car. You can find like old basketball teams, NASCAR. They used to do a lot. I don't think they're around anymore. At least I haven't seen it. This is an old boy. This is an old boy. And I could tell just from the tag, from the beefiness. And it is literally, I am telling you guys, this has never been worn. This has never been worn. So, I mean, steaming is fine on this, as long as you're not putting it directly on the material. So when you're doing material that's a little bit more tender, what I do is I hold it back here and I basically am letting just the breeze. Here, let me get my steamer head. So normally, you could go like this on something and put it against it. When you've got something like this, all you have to do is kind of turn these sideways and you just go like this. And you're basically just letting the air kind of get to it. And it'll do it real quick. So anytime you're dealing with like silks or satins or anything vintage, especially anything that's black and vintage, because then you also could be in the sulfur-based dye realm, not with this one, but with t-shirts, and you want to like dry rot, puncture it or something. So you just want to stay kind of away from it a little bit, and it'll help to steam it out. This is a medium. So I tried it on me, and I usually wear a large, and it fit me perfect. So I guess technically it has been worn because I wore it, for half of a minute. But I mean, it's so beautiful. If my mom still had her vet, I'd buy it from you. It's amazing. Yeah, this guy got it when he said when he was in Vegas, like late 90s, I think he said, like 97 or 98, and he had bought a brand new Corvette. And when he bought the Corvette, because he spent like, I don't know, some insane amount of money on it, he could pick out items he wanted to go with it, like free items. And he got this and then some other stuff. The other stuff he wanted way too much for it. He had a vintage Corvette luggage set, but he wanted, like, he pulled out the printout that he had from eBay. And I was like, okay, I know where this is going. But this one he didn't know. I got this for $5. So yeah, and you can steam from the inside out as well. So normally on this kind of stuff, I would just flip it out and steam it. However, I've gotten, I will admit, I cheat a little bit. I've gotten so good at literally just taking and going so far in the air from it that the light steam is doing that. And I did not on this one especially. I didn't want to touch this white. It's perfectly white. I'm like, what if there's anything in my steamer and I transfer that over? So, I risked it for the biscuit, but I have steamed so many things like this that I'm just used to it. But yes, I would suggest doing inside out if you're not used to it. Yeah, I mean, this thing is insane. The embroidery in the front, it's just absolutely beautiful. It's so gorgeous. So I'm just going to look around for any little weird strings. We got one tiny one here. And when you're cutting off strings, guys, make sure you don't cut it all the way against it. You want to leave a little bit just in case it pulls back. But I always get, on your vintage pieces, do not do that. Do not cut anything off, anything distressed or vintage, leave it. But if it's something like this, it's brand new, and it's just got 2 strings from the manufacturer. God, this jacket is just so pretty. I mean, come on. If I didn't want the money for this one, and if 2 I wore jackets, I would keep this because it's just so beautiful. However, I'm so stinking warm all the time that I can't even imagine wearing this. Like, I would just be way too warm. All right, we're gonna get a picture of this here. Take a look at it. God, it's so beautiful. It just shimmers in that picture. All right, we're gonna get the shoulders here. And again, I am going to get that Corvette logo in there as much as humanly possible. I'm trying to get it on that one. I don't think I can. I'm trying to get that in as many pictures as I can because, again, that's going to be what sells it, is that brand, is that name. The other thing you can do on something like this is when you go to list it, use the back first. So what I'll probably do in this listing, because the Corvette on the back here is way bigger and it will literally stop someone in their tracks. So I'm going to get this Corvette logo. I'm going to put this up backwards and actually show that Corvette. And then we're going to get a picture of this embroidery from the side so people can see it. And then also we want to get a picture of this inside. So beautiful. I mean, Look at this thing. You don't get much more crisp white than that. A little string there. Yeah, I mean, you don't get much more dead stock than that. And this, I'm comfortable with saying it's dead stock because this never had a tag on it. Because this was a dealership giveaway item that they gave to customers who bought a vet. This did not have tags on it. So this is that never had tags, that didn't exist. So I'm comfortable with calling it dead stock. And I'll put in the thing, the story that I got from the guy. Now, whether or not someone believes that, and that's not for me to judge, but that is the story. And that came literally from a guy that I got so much Corvette stuff from this weekend. If he had wanted reasonable prices on all the rest of it, I would have gotten it. But he knew what he had there on some of the pieces. And unfortunately, he had fallen victim to eBay pricing some of the stuff that he considered his the biggest treasures. And when they do that, they're not taking consideration fees. They're also not looking up sold comps. They're just looking up what someone's asking for it. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. So if somebody says they want to get $1,000 for something, that doesn't mean it's worth $1,000. It means it's not worth $1,000 until it sells to someone for $1,000. And then it's like, okay, well, maybe that's worth $1,000. But then it's also like, well, was that just a fluke? Did someone just pay that and it's not really worth that? If it sells a couple times for $1,000, all right, now you got my attention, right? Otherwise, it doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't count because, again, like I said, price is what you pay, value is what you get. So is it even worth that much? Who knows? So a lot of those people at those garage sales, the second I see those eBay signs, it's usually a turn and burn away for me, unless they have a pile of stuff they consider not important, and I can usually get some good deals in there because they don't care how much they sell that other stuff for. Who cares about that garbage over there? We're waiting to sell these big items. It's like, well, you're waiting to sell those big items. You're not going to sell them. But I'm going to take all that stuff that you think is garbage. I'm going to go ahead and sell it. I'm going to make more money. So that's the way that works. All right. He or she that knows the most information will win. Okay. 1163 on that jacket. 1163. And that is on our Corvette. All right, you guys, I am going to head out of here. I can tell I'm starting to wane because I'm getting hungry. Yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic and awesome Tuesday. I believe we'll be doing shipping tomorrow. I got to look at my schedule. I feel like I had something to do tomorrow, but I can't remember. So I think I'll be back on tomorrow. If I don't see you tomorrow morning for shipping, then I'll see you guys for photos later in the day as well. Gravy Grab, so cool to see you. Thanks for the follow, BG. What is your favorite place to find stuff to resell? Garage sales, baby. That's the only place I go. I literally am the holler for $1 garage sale girl. I don't go to thrift stores. I've never been to the bins. Once in a great while, I'll go to a thrift store, but what they want and what I want to pay, we don't usually agree. Yeah, print out the KOD. Absolutely, the printout. It's like, come on, guys. All right, Tenacious, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hey, Rose. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'm gonna get some food. Whether you're joining us on the Tubies and Tubies or you're joining us on TT, I will see you guys tomorrow at some point. Just look for the little video. There'll be a little register thing in there, so that you can get a reminder. Same thing on the tubes. You should be able to see when I create that and be able to follow to get a little reminder. Garage sales are rough because it's only 2 days. Oh, no problem, Renee. Absolutely. Yeah, you just got to get real fast at garage sales. I've learned how to turn and burn in under 3 minutes. But it took me, 3,000 garage sales to figure out how to do that. So you'll get there if that's what you're doing. All right, you guys, have a beautiful day. Riz, thank you for the help. I'll see you guys later. Peace.